episode of the Gongsman TV.
Welcome.
Today, Ghana is 67.
It's not today, or it's Ghana's birthday. Happy belated. Is it belated happy birthday or happy belated birthday?
It's a bro for the Kaiwo.
Belated happy birthday to Ghana.
Do people go around their day thinking about these things?
About what?
That is belated happy or happy belated. Anyways.
If you are an aficionado.
Hey, but last, Ghana chopped 67.
Yeah,
so 67. Like 2 years after retirement, right?
Well, if you were in Ghana, Ghana would have retired 7 years ago.
Oh,
the retirement age in Ghana is 60, not 65.
So how far after retirement?
Really?
So we got independence in 1957, right?
Since March 1957.
And then now we are 67 years old. Until then,
what do we have to show for 67 years?
Not a lot. Well, we still have our gold.
So
one interesting thing though is that personally I've been thinking like what were some of the things that post independence, right, we were relying on to move our economies. Of course, the British, I think they gave Nkrumah some small money after independence, or the show crash or show boy. But then we had other things over time, cocoa, or bauxite, or mine.
We still have a lot of things. We still have a lot of resources.
Yeah, but my point is that those were the ones that were moving our economies, right?
Yeah.
But then 67 years on, it almost feels like those are the same things, that are moving our economies.
Yeah.
That's concerning.
It is concerning, and I think this is one of those things where we have to do a very deep dive on our independence, how we have so-called developed over the years, right? How time has passed us by as a people, what we have achieved and what we've not been able to achieve and all of that. But it's very frustrating for
people. And sometimes people joke around and they're like, "Oh, are we even better off having independence?" I think that's not a good argument.
You say,
people say, "Oh,
and
it would have been better if we didn't have independence."
And you are saying what?
Oh, I think freedom is good. Freedom and being broke, I think is better.
Oh yeah, definitely.
The truth of the matter is that we don't honestly expect that if we didn't have independence, our fortunes as black people in Africa would be any better, like substantially better. Do you get it?
Yeah. You would have
Africa might be good looking, things might be moving, right? Like what used to happen in South Africa, for instance, right?
Yeah.
So segregation, discrimination, the richest go to one side. And anyways, freedom is good.
One of the things that's disheartening about the process is that I don't know if you've seen this quote before. It might have been like an Nkrumah quote or something about how the people who were fighting to gain us the independence, right? And who are like the elite have now replaced those who were colonizing us, who we thought were. It's just the same. It's just a different set of people doing to us the same things that were done by them, and that's the disheartening part. That we would have thought that now that I imagine, right, being there at the polo grounds when Nkrumah was like, "At long last, the battle has ended. Ghana and the beloved country is free forever." How did it feel? What was what were the people at the time looking forward to as what the nation would be 67 years and where the nation would, I almost want to go back deep into time and
you talk deep to us.
I want I want to picture myself standing at that.
When we say blood and toils of our forefathers, those are the blood and toils for
the blood and toil.
What did they
envisage and where are we now? It's a very we've come a long way in a lot of things. We have to give ourselves credit for. We have peace.
Oh, that's good. Peace is good.
Ghana,
and so some things are more important, right?
Yeah.
I think, like you said, peace is important,
yeah,
right? Freedom is important,
yeah,
right? But then once you go past the peace and the freedom, right? Because at the end of the day, what is really peace? If you are peaceful and you're hungry, like if a lot of people are hungry, right?
Yeah.
it almost feels like a ticking time bomb, right?
Mm-hmm.
Thank goodness that Ghanaians would rather maybe even go seek greener pastures elsewhere.
But it hasn't always been that. It hasn't always been the case, right? Because if you look at our independence, you know, all the coups and the disturbances that we've had. You see, a lot of people think that Ghanaians are very like peace loving and we've had our own fair share of things, and I think we've come to a point where we've decided. Well, I hope. So because we don't want to.
We have decided.
We have decided that like we want to practice democracy with all its flaws, and those flaws are pronounced.
Right. So actually, I want to. So democrat. Do you think what we have in Ghana is democracy? Challenging.
I don't think.
I think of it as a pseudo democracy.
Yeah.
Like it's democracy like.
But for the other question too, I don't think we. Is it democracy really?
That's what I'm saying. Well, what should democracy look like?
Because the only part of our structure that is like democratic today is like we have elections. I feel like that's it. Like we have elections every 4 years, and we are able to change power, and that's it. But when it comes, for example, when it comes to democracy, right? It's Parliament working the way it should work in a democratic. Like, do you think they are there for your interest? How do you feel about it?
Is our parliament substantially different from parliaments elsewhere?
Charlie, the results to show for it. The results, there is like I don't know.
So I guess what I'm getting at is that maybe there is something else that is making the democracy work elsewhere, and we just
we are at least our democracy is not to develop. It's just to. For me, I think the biggest part of our democracy is that we are able to organize elections, largely peaceful elections.
Right.
There are pockets of violence here and there,
but they're nothing to.
But we've not descended into mayhem and all of that, and we hope that never happens because look, we don't want to be in that situation. But I don't know what are the dividends of our democracy. It's not like if you are like a young Ghanaian. There's a certain pride that the nation is looking out for, and the nation will make sure that they put you on a footing where you succeed. It just feels like, oh, you better about this person will come and go, but nothing really is going to change.
Like nothing
checks and balance. Somebody will say no family. See, look at the way our constitution is structured. That we have a three-legged structure where we have legislature, judiciary and executive. Then some way, somehow, our constitution says that the president, when he's appointing ministers, majority of his ministers should come from parliament.
I never understand that.
All the parliamentarians are sort of lobbying to become ministers, right? And then even those that are then ministers and parliamentarians, they have divided attention because they have to split their time. And then secondly, as an executive, when you formulate policy and bring it to parliament, then you yourself will vote on that. How is it?
It's like classic checks and balances that you're going against.
So that
separation of concern. And social studies or maybe
separation of powers. Separation of consent.
Separation of powers. Where did separation of concerns come? Oh, that's in coding. Anyways, sorry. Well, so second problems no way. So separation of powers, right? And checks and balances. And I think that fundamentally makes sense. Right? But just by how our constitution is structured, like you said, it's like we are just not going to achieve these good stuff, right? So last 67 years. But it's like these things should be obvious too. Do you think that so far we haven't really moved at a pace? I mean, to your point, we have moved small, right? Then you have
but in so many ways we've also retrogressed. Like I don't. It's not.
What's the way? Do you think there's a way forward?
Oh, there has to be hope. Otherwise, there's no point. I think. I don't know. It's like a chicken and egg situation, right? Every time is it the leaders? Is it the people? I feel like leadership is cause, everything else is effect, right? We need a crop of leaders that are going to be altruistic in the way that they govern. It's not selfish people. They have to look at they have to be legacy chasing. Me, a lot of them. They are not chasing any legacy. They are not. Which of the how many
legacy for themselves or
yeah, that's what I'm saying. They are not chasing legacy. Like when you leave as a president, right? One of the presidents that we always see that he has now was Kufuor. I mean, I think he has flaws and everything, and I think maybe Nanado was trying to go.
It was like a net positive.
Yeah.
You could argue.
Yes. Yeah. Somebody like Nanado was maybe trying to go with the education to be like the person that makes sure that education is accessible to everybody and all of that. But after the 8 years, I don't think, maybe the education is sketchy. I don't think like he has moved the needle. The reason why I was, at the time, 2016, I was like, okay, Nanado is coming. I don't think people just for the education. It's like corruption, like those systems that are setting us back, right? People really had a certain hope that he will move the country in that direction. Like,
jail people.
Not just jail, but that there will be like we have to change something.
Avoid they miss the word. They use this.
Like something else to fundamentally change. I don't think any of the Bahama. Nothing has changed where you are like, okay, we are changing the foundation of it. We always say our economy is going to beg the economy. We are not producing the same. We are doing the same thing. Everybody is doing the same thing.
So structurally, like what you're saying, economy structure that, right? What would the next 67 years look like? Do you think there's hope? So you mentioned those who were there when Dr. Nkrumah said we are free forever. Now we are here.
We are
here. Foundation,
free forever.
Right? What the next 67 years? But it seems some fundamental things have to change. Ghana always baffles me, and perhaps, I mean, it's so easy for us to say, oh, our leaders are corrupt, right? And then we say, oh, things are, it's so easy for us to say, right? But when you start thinking about what would, say they put you in charge today as president of Ghana, right? If you start to laugh, then you ask yourself, like,
what will I change?
It's not even what can you change?
What can you change?
Right?
The things that bother me. The things that bother me is there has to be a certain level of discipline. Right?
So, Honorable Ken mentioned that.
Yes, and I mean, he has his flaws and everything, but I think no, not that. Like, for example, why is it that somebody will say, let me give this. Somebody can still see when a corruption case comes into the public domain. If you go to where like Twitter or whatever, people will say, well, nothing will happen. Do you know that Ghanaians have a certain nothing will happen? That nothing will happen mindset.
I mean, we've talked about it on this channel, right? Where it's like laws in Ghana are not.
They are suggestions.
This is the first time I'm hearing laws in Ghana are suggestions.
If you like, a lot of them, because it is not backed by any sanctions, especially if you are politically aligned. If you like this,
it's like you always be politically aligned. It's just a cycle, right?
Yes, that's what I'm saying. You like this guy are not politically aligned. They are not suggestions.
Right.
But if you are politically aligned, it's a suggestion. If you want to follow it, you can follow it.
Right.
If you don't follow it, your party will probably come to your rest. It will become a political.
So we've created a society where like the connected just gets away with everything.
Yes.
And
unless it's very egregious, then now they can't hide it, right?
I mean, say one that like, do we even have one example that we all felt this was egregious or whatever word you are using, I can't pronounce? That something material came out of it.
Oh, there was, I think, President Kufuor time, there was some Malam Issa case, some Minister of Sports that I think I don't know if they prosecuted him or and then Abuga Pele, MDC time.
What did
Chikata, but those ones, opponents there, they can do it. The Chikata one, they ended up having. Opponents there, they do it, but like the
fact that we're even struggling to go all the way back to that.
And so we have seen a lot of cases.
Right? Corruption is a big
Yeah.
issue. So, but is there anything else, right? Or you think until we solve corruption?
I think you can't solve corruption. That one day you can't solve it. You have to,
I mean, like
you have to
reduce it to
you have to
level,
consequence
right?
it. Like if somebody
manage it.
make sure that people fear to make it a costly venture, right? Like if somebody is going to be corrupt, they know that there has to be a certain level of fear that when those days when you are going to steal meat from the soup, you steal it like this. You don't steal it. You don't steal the meat like you are standing there eating with audacity.
Then they still meat for
Oh, same granny. Charlie.
Why they talk that like you beg?
No, but my point is that when you are doing something bad, you have to like go like this. You don't have to be standing there chewing the meat for a matter to come and catch you. You know, sometimes no matter.
And then when they summon you to the economic whatever committee, you can't do.
If you listen to the public accounts committee, you be mad. Like things that people are doing, it's not even just the politicians, the civil servants. They cry there. So I don't know.
67 years on.
We have to change.
But then so this is all about the government, right?
Yeah.
But then like the people. So do we have a role in this?
Yeah. Some of the things that people they do some way. Like last time I was telling you that there was a billboard on the highway and people are stealing the boats. That one, you want the minister to come and stand there to make sure you don't steal? Like, why are you stealing boats? Or a big billboard which can collapse and kill people. What are we doing? I saw somebody urinating in the median of the La Paz. A grown man. I was like, yo, why are you doing that, my brother?
Hey,
massa.
But do we have public bathrooms or
listen?
No.
Okay, let me ask you a question. You. If you tell me that we don't have public, it's fine. Will you go and stand in there?
No, I won't go and stand there. I agree. I agree. It's not. Sometimes it's not sanitary. It's not moral, right? But then you see, so that's why when you say like chicken and egg.
Yeah, it's right? I understand.
Because it's like the state has to do some stuff. They're obviously not doing, right?
Yeah.
And the people just try. I mean, there are obviously in any society there are people who do good stuff. There are people who just do stuff, right? But then it's like on average, you're always fighting the system to live in Ghana.
Yeah.
What I say?
Yeah.
And so it becomes a problem. So people do stuff that charity. This independence, it
didn't.
I say it was on the low B.
Oh, when you go to Twitter, you see that a lot of people were making fun of the marching and the people that were dancing with the marching and all of that.
It became like a joke.
I don't know. It has become something that we just observe. And then people will post the flag, the feast, the girls, and the boys, the fan boys. They'll post the Ghana flag and then they'll post their. But like people, I don't think, for example, the youth, people, I don't know.
But that's just, I think the youth are being realistic.
Yeah, they are very busy.
I mean, growing up, going for like 6 match pass, right? You know, it kind of did mean something back in the day when we were small. I mean,
maybe it means something for the kids. So you understand it.
But now, you look back and you're like, it's like we just keep dropping L after L after L, right? I saw a video. I don't know if it was this weekend or last weekend, but you know, there were African leaders complaining about how the price of coffee. You know, like on the world market, they said it's like 460 billion business coffee, right? The whole of Africa gets 2.5 billion.
And
the whole of Africa. Yeah, and we produce, a lot. And then Germany apparently does the processing. They don't produce, well, not a lot, even if they did produce, right? But they get 6.5 billion, right? So Germany alone gets more than what the entire African continent gets from the coffee business, right? And then in the video they were complaining about, this is the president. I think it was president of
Rwanda.
I don't know.
Because I know they produce a lot of coffee in the East Africa region.
He actually said this is modern day slavery.
Yo.
You know, and you know, it's like this is so unfair. I think, when are we going to realize that the whole world system is a market?
It's
You
dog,
think- you
it's
feel like
dog eats dog. That's what we have to realize. It's dog eats dog. It's competitive. Somebody is going to take advantage of you if you don't put your house
So
in order.
let me ask
That's
you
my
this:
point. Like,
what do you think is stopping us from? Let's say we know that the whole business is 460 billion, right?
Yeah.
We just they produce, they get 2.5 billion.
Yeah.
Somebody does the processing, they get 6.5 billion, right?
Yeah.
We are at IMF for 3 billion, by the
Yeah.
way, right?
Mhm.
Like, is it so hard for us to see that, we can also process the
We know, we know.
or do we think that when we process it and we take it to the market, they won't buy it because we processed it?
We are not putting our money where our mouth is. That's the thing.
Right.
See, like, we are always complaining about how, like, the Western powers are stronger than us, and they do that. And I would argue, what do you want them to do? Do you want them to give to you on a silver? Like, we have to, we have to figure out a way to work within the system, and to gain for ourselves what we can also gain. You see, people will do whatever people will do. It's like saying that, when I work in the night, people rob me at a certain.
And you keep working in the night.
Stop working in the night, or if you need to go and work in the night, get security or carry something to protect yourself. Like you can't
react to it. Be different.
That's my point. We've been doing, when Nanado was coming together, he said that our economy is a gorgeous bag economy, meaning that we are just producing raw materials. And so we know the problems. So we know the problems, but like successive government after successive government. I don't know. It's the same thing we are doing. We say, okay, we are doing.
Is it a Bill Gates economy?
I don't know. We say, we are doing one district, and this is not to bash the MPP. All of them, the NDC, everybody, they are all there. But this is the most recent example, right? But we say, okay, we are doing one district, one factory. Then we'll do some small factories. Maybe we'll find one company. Then we'll give them some small money here. Then we'll brand it. Then we'll say, we have done it. So we don't have any factories that are like, they create disruption. We don't know.
Yeah.
It's just somebody here doing something. How many Ghanaian businesses have survived, let's say 50, 60, 70 years? Here, you go and see maybe some, what do you call it?
100 and something.
Our businesses don't survive. They don't grow to a point where we are like, this business is too big to fail. We don't have.
So it's like we have
big ups to people like Casapreco and things who have done like tremendous work over the years, over a long period. We hope they continue. It's
it's very, So we seem to lack a sense of direction. Right? We seem to not prioritize better.
Yeah.
We seem to just carry on business as usual.
Yeah.
And clearly, after 67 years, Charlie,
they are still doing the same mode.
Yeah, and I actually feel a bit sorry for the next 67 years.
Unless it will be fine.
No, you see, the thing is, if you keep doing things the same way, right, and you expect different results, that's that has been described
as the definition of insanity.
Exactly, right. So fundamentally, like, constitution has to change. We know this.
Yeah, constitution
has to change. Law enforcement has to be revamped.
Yep.
So that
we have to have a plan for ourselves and punish people who don't stick to the plan.
There are fundamental things like lights, have electricity. As
we're recording this video, the All African Games at Cape Coast, Ghana versus Ethiopia, they said the light has
and something like that blows my mind. I'm like,
so nobody.
You see, nobody loses their job over this.
That's what I'm saying. There has to be this, like, there has to be. You can't do this. You are out.
I said we have normalized Ghana this. Then we just laugh, talk about it
for 1 week.
But it's not okay.
That's what I'm saying. That until those things become if they tell you to go and negotiate some deal, and you would negotiate more than what you asked for, like, we see that you've cut like.
So do you think our leaders have just been incompetent, or they just choose? Because it's like the system just
It's a mixture of it.
system.
It's a mixture of incompetence. It's a mixture of willful
Incompetence.
Okay.
Well,
so you there, we are praying, we are hoping, we want
hoping and praying that
but we there, we have to hope and pray and put in the
we
effort
have
as
to,
well.
yeah. And I mean, I've said this on this channel, and I'll say it again that I dream of me to have some small dream, you know, yeah.
Okay.
I have some small dream of the day where like our politicians could be very intentional about the decisions they take, and understand that these decisions to them maybe it's just a job, maybe it's just to get money, right, and better their lives, and then we call them honorable, and they are happy, right? But these choices they make real impact on people's lives. There's a difference between somebody going to the hospital and not having access to the needed care. Right? It's a difference between like somebody having a comfortable, childbirth versus
not
having to, like it's a difference between somebody like having very good grades and they can't afford to proceed in education, right? So these have real consequences, and I don't even know if they will watch, but they have to be very.
I saw, that in June, in June and July, it rains a lot.
Oh yeah,
right?
Hey, it's coming.
There have been newspaper reports from like 19 every year when it floods. People resurface those things on social media again. Like, we don't have a never again type of attitude.
So who is responsible for that?
The 2015 disaster that
I lose my business partner, Bill.
We RIP to him or her.
Him.
Oh, yeah, but the point is,
boys.
Well, the point is that when such a thing happens, like, we are not a people who can draw the line underneath and say, look, these things, like, we
when you say we are not, who is to draw the line? You see, for me, I actually think, I'll be very honest, right now. I think our parliament has failed us. For me, it starts with parliament. Because here is the thing, right? If we have a disagreement with how things are done, right? We don't have any power. Right? The best we can do is to let our representation know that we don't like this, we want this to change, right? Or we can force, but you see, when you force, if we replace you as MP, the person who is coming, don't cry, the bobo. You get
Frank to fire.
And so we have been, by accepting to be democratic, right? As a Ghanaian child, right? I don't have a choice to necessarily represent myself, right? I give my authority to somebody to go and represent me. Now, if that person goes in and they don't represent me, that's even fraud. Why are people not getting? I mean, come to think of it. No, hold on. Is that not? I saw that. Do you get it?
No,
they go in, they represent, of course, themselves and then their political party, perhaps even
most
also
their political party,
right? So we have like these two big monarchs that are controlling us. What I said, we have no choice. And style.
This one go and this one come.
Exactly, and we are not going anywhere. So anyways, the next 67 years will come and reach us.
this was supposed to be a 15-minute video, man.
Ghana, no. Anyway, another thing happened in the course of the period.
John
Dramani Mahama.
He unveiled this.
It wasn't news though. I mean,
she had been
already.
She had been there. She had done that last. I don't think her impact was.
So she wasn't a new force
Professor,
in the NDC.
Yes, Professor Jinana Opoku-Agyemang is the running mate for John Dramani Mahama for a second time.
Yes.
She's not an unknown commodity, but like
commodity of them.
but in the politics, I don't think she's that popular, right? She's not a household name.
Well, I think the idea of like a female vice president, maybe president someday, who knows, right? That's kind of new in our political. So,
but I don't.
That's interesting.
See, the thing is that is she really going to be president? Not just because like the female thing. Of course, I think we are ready for a female president. We had a female chief justice, female speaker. Like so Ghana is not one of those places where we say okay.
I would love to see it, right? But I just hope.
I think she's like 70 something, right? So has Mahama elected his successor if he wins? We don't know if he's going to win or we are not supporting anybody.
No,
but is she? Given that you are saying that she could be the first female president, she will be like 4 years older at the time. She, but another is it is
not the need.
I guess.
So Professor is back in the game. I think you were making a point earlier that she kind of wasn't in the political space or domain a lot. At least we didn't hear a lot from her on the politics side of things since they've been in opposition, right? Unlike Chairman who was who was giving speeches when he was in opposition, right? So it will be interesting to see. Well, I don't know. I mean, I don't think there were any surprises. That's what I'm trying to say.
I mean, it was also. So she was vice chancellor at UCC, and then she became education minister under the first Mahama administration at some point, and then he selected her as the running mate. That election was weird. Mahama had lost. I think the MPP had a fairly good first term. It was always going to be hard for them to. Mahama had lost in 2016. By 2020, MPP, the first term was okay. COVID was around the corner. But she wasn't
money was there. People were buying kinkins.
But she wasn't. They weren't able to market her as such, right? Because of COVID, you take your running.
But I guess what's there is and I'm genuinely curious. What is there to market?
Her, or like her as a person?
No, not her. Of course, she's achieved a lot, right? But. So, Dr. Baumia was marketed as, the economist.
I think when they brought her in
Enigma, right?
When they brought her in 2020, or 2016, sorry, when they brought her in 2016, wait, who was Mohammed's running mate in 2016? Was it Nana? I think it was her.
I don't know who else.
But whenever they brought her, she was in education. I think free SHS was a topical issue. So maybe they also brought her in there for that value that when it comes to education, this But then
I think her background is actually in education.
She was vice chancellor of UCC. So
no. What I mean is
as
research and stuff.
But what is there to market for this election cycle? I believe that the biggest issue is the economy. Right now is the economy.
When has it not been the economy?
No, I mean, MPP were able to make the issue free SHS the last time. But right now everybody's like they're at their pants. So I don't know what.
I really hope that education is obviously a very important area. I just hope that if they win. I'm not predicting anything. We just go count and talk.
Anybody will win there. I don't know if they will make any difference. They want to talk.
Hopefully, you see, that's the unfortunate part too. Like, you would think that when the technocrats, when the experts come in, things will change, right? But then they will turn around.
I've told you my view of experts.
They will turn around and come and say they were the mates.
They were the mates.
Anyway, so there is that. And then another thing happened.
John Kumar died.
Oh.
Sad news. The
deputy finance
minister passed away.
Dr. John Kumar.
R.I.P. to him.
But there's been some conspiracy theories.
We don't do conspiracy theories.
There be some but you see that video?
They had the executives of the party go to his house. Social media there. You don't know the context, but some people have come to post the thing that.
No, I saw it was just funny. I'm just saying it because it was funny, right?
Because of the whole thing about
drama. Yeah, we just hope that. If it's true, that's a big if.
Yeah.
That's very, very unfortunate. I mean, as Ghanaians, you know, like I said, we are broke, we are struggling, we have 1,001 issues, but you know, we love to just, you know, hang in there and make fun of, you know, one another even and then just move. But when it gets to that level, that's some serious.
I hope it's not true. I hope it's just some. I mean, I wanted to say natural causes, but for a 45, 46-year-old.
People die at 20 something natural causes.
Usually when they say natural causes, they mean like for older people. Like natural, like when you and
that's it. There was some natural.
They usually state the cause. Like they'll say, oh, maybe he died of cancer or something. But when they use the phrase natural causes, they usually mean like
you see, you not say you like forgo Oxford or something. Boy, when they usually use
I think when they usually use natural causes, it's like not somebody who know it. It's okay. Bye bye.
Yeah, so the long and short of it is that Ghana is 67 years old. We unfortunately there isn't much to. Of course, we have some stuff to be proud of. We are still proud Ghanaians, right? And you know the fact that, like you said, we
made progress in certain years.
We've made some progress, right? But it's really at a lower pace, you know. And we hope that. I think it gets a little annoying because we have the potential. We know who we are. We know we can do it. But then because everything has been made about politics, you know, instead of the politics being about the people are now about the politics. So things now I say I nyama busy basabi. But what we go do? So thank you so much for watching this
and listen to our lamentations.
I mean, for the Ghanaians out there, we know you know. So, but Debbie, you know, one day. All right, see you in the next video where we go back to our migration series. There is so much in store for you. You know, guy, the programming, when I looked at it, I was like, man. So don't go anywhere. Just, you know, stick around and, you know, enjoy the awesome content that we'll bring your way. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Until next time, bye.
Like, share, subscribe.
Don't forget. Remo. So send a gun. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.